out. I started the recording right now, but I'm going to cut it from the beginning here. So I'll just give an introduction and then we'll roll in there. So, greetings, friends! Welcome back to another episode of Dreamscapes. Tonight we have Nancy here to share a dream with us. Say hello, Nancy.
Hello to everybody.
Hello. So my process is, for anyone who's watched the videos before, we're going to go through the dream beginning to end, and I'm just going to listen. Then we'll go back through it again for some details. So first and foremost, if you would just walk us through it from the first thing you remember after falling asleep to the last thing you remember before waking up. Go ahead anytime.
Oh, yeah. So, I think I was somewhere like in a castle or in a very old city, and there was my boyfriend and my boyfriend's father, who was not his real father. He was someone else that I didn't know, and very old man that I didn't know, and they were theoretically in my dream they were judges. They were acting like judges. So the place was a court, and these people were judges, and I was in trial along with some other people for something that I did that was really minor. And the thing is that if I would be innocent, I would be left for free. But if I would be like guilty, if they would find me guilty, I would receive the death penalty. With an unknown means of, I don't know, how to kill us. And I was somewhere else, and then I heard that they found me guilty, and I had to be killed. And I was like, no, this is not possible. I didn't do anything serious. And they were like, yes, but you are not going to receive a favor, because they just gave the death penalty to their daughter and granddaughter. Like my boyfriend, that was a judge, had a daughter, and he found her guilty, and he killed her also as well. He condemned her to the death penalty. And then I was not very afraid. Just I was puzzled why this is happening. And then I tried to escape. And I was running away in a very dark place. And my boyfriend was the judge, was me, wanting to catch me and kill me. It was a very weird dream, like with the death penalty, what does it mean, and the trial and everything.
Yeah, for sure. So that's everything you can remember for now. And then after you were being chased, then you woke up?
Yes, I woke up. I was not caught, or I didn't see me dying or something.
Okay.
I saw myself being chased, and then I woke up.
Okay. Well, that is a good start. Usually the descriptions are pretty short, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on how complicated some of the dreams are. So what I like to do next is we're going to go back through it, start at the beginning, and I'm going to try and pull out a little more details if possible. So the first thing you say you can remember is being in an old city or standing in front of a castle. Can you kind of describe what you saw around you?
Yeah, I cannot describe what I saw around me because this was not very clear to me in the dream, or I don't remember. But it was like have you seen a Game of Thrones? Like cities like this, like so, very medieval, and
So
it was dark.
Kind of a medieval city.
Yes, and it was dark. It was night,
okay,
or very late in the evening. And I was in a room.
And you were what? Sorry?
I was in a room, and there was a balcony that you could see the horizon and the sea, etc., etc.
So the first place you remember being in the dream was inside a room, not on the street?
Not on the street, no. Inside the room.
Okay. And then you could see inside this room visual indications that it was an older room. It was not a modern room.
No, it was from stone, and there was not a lot of furniture. No, it seemed like very old castle. Like I was in a room in a castle.
Okay, so it's as if you were you were in an old city in kind of a medieval setting, and not only were you at that location, but you were actually inside a room that you knew was inside a castle.
Yes.
Okay. And so you said you could see what outside the window again?
I think it was like the city. I would see some old buildings and the sea and the sky with the moon. I don't know, but I don't really remember. It was like just
the
horizon and the city. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. If I ever ask you for details and you're like, I don't know, you can just be honest about that. It's you're not doing anything wrong by not seeing something. Very often I do something I call rattling doorknobs. I'm thinking I see a way forward or a way for more information, and the door doesn't come open, and that's fine. We go to the next door. It doesn't, not a big deal. So don't ever feel bad if you can't give me a detail I'm asking for.
Okay.
So you're inside the room. Did you have a sense of yourself? You were you? Or were you?
Yes.
Okay, you were definitely yourself. What were you doing in the room? Did you do anything in the room before you left? Or did others join you in the room?
I think there was a person in the room. I think this person was a woman, but I don't clearly remember her, or I didn't clearly visualize her in my dream.
Couldn't see
it's just
her.
that there was another person in the room. It was me and another person, and I didn't do actually anything. I was just standing there.
Standing there. Did you get a sense of what the other woman was doing, or why she was there?
She was just standing there.
She was also just standing there.
In particular.
Okay, not doing anything in particular. And then what was the next thing that happened in the dream in terms of, did you leave the room to go somewhere? Did people come to the room to see you?
No, just this woman. This woman told me that they found you guilty. She didn't tell me exactly that they found me guilty. She told me that you were given the death penalty. I knew that the judges were the persons that I told you about.
Okay.
And I told her, okay, but I think that I'm going to ask for a favor, because what I did was not minor. It was minor, like it's not possible. I didn't kill anyone. And she told me now they are killing their daughter because they given her the death penalty. So I don't think that you are going to get a favor. So suppose she was telling me how cruel they are, how very determined they are for justice as they perceived it. So yeah, I was not afraid. I was just standing there. I was like, yeah, probably I have to leave. And the next moment, I didn't see me leaving the building. The next moment, I was out somewhere in a dark road, like a path. It was like a path.
It was like a what? I'm sorry.
It was like a path.
Like a path.
It was not a road. Yeah, it was not a road or a regular street. It was like a path.
Oh, a path. Gotcha.
I didn't hear you very well.
Okay. So you were in the room, and the woman was there, and this is how you learned about the verdict. Now, before she started talking about that, you already knew there was a trial going on? Yeah,
somehow I already knew that I was standing in front of the judges in a trial.
Okay,
this has passed.
So this is I'm sorry, this is what you were doing in the room as you were waiting on the verdict for the trial?
Yes.
Okay. And I wanted to just go over it again real quick. So the woman spoke with you first. She volunteered the information you were of the outcome of the trial?
Yeah, I don't know if she volunteered the information or she was there in order to inform me. Like maybe she was there for the other people, for the people that are on the trial to learn what is gonna happen to them.
Okay, so she was kind of like a messenger. She was there to deliver the news.
Yeah, probably like that.
Okay, and then your response to her was, well, I'm going to ask for a favor because my offense was minor, whatever I did.
Yes.
Did you have a sense of what you did at all? What they were judging you for?
No.
Okay. But you just knew it wasn't serious enough to warrant the death penalty. That was like way overboard.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then she said to you that you're probably not going to get a favor. This is paraphrasing, because they even put their own daughter to death.
Yes.
And it was specifically the daughter of the judge.
Yes, the daughter of the youngest, and the granddaughter of the oldest.
Okay. So up to this point, you hadn't seen who the people were, but you had a sense that it was your boyfriend and your...
Yes, I was pretty sure. Like, I this was not for a doubt. They were the judges.
The adults were the judges?
Say it again.
I think I didn't catch that last part. You said this was not something.
Yeah, this I had no doubt that these were the judges. Like,
Oh, you had no doubt. Okay.
it was not my sense. They were the judges for sure.
Okay.
It was not that I had this sense that the feeling that they were the judges. They were the judges for sure.
Okay.
I knew.
Okay. I do want to spend a little bit of time on that, and I kind of identify these people a little bit better. You said one of them was your boyfriend,
Yes.
and he was a judge,
Yes.
and this was a person you recognized in the dream to be your boyfriend from real life.
Yes.
Okay. When you think about him in the dream, was it actually him, or was it someone that just looked like him?
It was actually him.
Okay. And then you said the other judge was your boyfriend's father?
Yes.
Okay. And this is also in your dream a representation, or you identified that person as your boyfriend's father from real life.
That appeared as the father of my boyfriend was not the actual father of my boyfriend.
Okay. So it was someone who looked like him, someone who claimed to be him. How would you identify that distinction?
Well, okay. So let me make it more clear. So,
Sure.
in my dream, this was for the person was the father of my boyfriend. However, in real life, this person that I was seeing as the father is not the actual person. The person that I was seeing is another person. Like it was like totally different from the real father of my boyfriend.
Okay. So it was a different person who was not actually identifiably that your boyfriend's father from your waking life.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
in the dream, that is how they were related.
Yes.
Okay. Did you get a sense of what they looked like in the dream? When you were thinking about who they were, could you see them in judges' robes? Could you see their faces?
I think I saw them at some point in the balcony. They were looking down.
This was later on in the dream. Later on in the dream, you did see them actually.
Yeah, I saw a scene.
Okay.
Like in the room that I were, they were standing in the balcony.
Okay.
They were standing in the balcony, but they didn't talk to me. And they didn't. We didn't converse at all.
Okay.
And they were just looking down.
All right. Well, going back to the chronology, the woman said, "No, you're not going to get a favor." They even killed their daughter. So whose daughter was it that was put to death?
The daughter of my boyfriend.
Okay. Did you get a sense of what her crime had been, or what offense she had committed to?
No.
Not at all. Okay.
But I knew in my dream that she was a little girl.
She was a little girl?
Like yeah, it was a little girl, not a grown-up woman. It was not an adult.
How old would you say she was?
I don't know. I don't know the exact age, but it was definitely a child, not even a teenager. Like I thought, in my dream, this was a child.
Okay. Are you thinking a very young child, 5, 6 years old, a slightly older child, 10, 11?
I don't know, not a very, very small child that couldn't do anything. Some things he did, theoretically.
Okay.
So apparently it was like a 10.
Okay.
But I don't know the exact age.
Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, a range is good enough. That's what I was trying to imagine in my head. Is this a toddler? Is this a teenager? It's apparently somewhere in between. About 10 is fine. Could have been 9. Could have been 11. Not probably not critical. I should tear this page off because I keep going back to look at it. So you got the sense that, or the woman told you, they've even killed their own daughter. That person. The idea was, if they're willing to go that far with someone they're related to and a child, you're not getting any special treatment. You're going to be judged harshly as well. That was the sense you got?
Yeah.
Okay. And you felt like the judges were very determined to achieve justice. That's how you interpreted what you were being told? Okay. I mean, that shows a very firm commitment to holding the line, rules, if they're willing to even execute, a relative and a child. I mean, okay, so was it the next thing you remembered? You didn't have any experience of leaving the building, walking out a door. You were just suddenly, the next thing you knew, you were on a kind of a path.
Yes, and I was running.
Suddenly on a path and running. Do you remember? You said it was definitely not a road, so not brick or concrete or asphalt. So like a dirt path? Rock path?
Rock.
Do you remember what kind of rocks? Like a medieval cobblestone path, or kind of a small crushed rock?
Not exactly, but something like that. Like there were big, like the paths that are made of stone in some villages that we see.
Okay. Sure, that's good. It's a good description. Do you remember seeing anything around you where the path was there, and you were on the path, and to your left, to your right, ahead of you?
I think that I saw some houses.
How close were they? What, were you in, like, running through a village? There were some houses to your left and right, pretty close to the road?
They were not that close to the road. They were not very, very far. The road was a normal road, like not pretty wide, but they were not that close to the road. No, it was like, yeah, I don't remember the exact dimensions.
Sure.
They were not very close to the road.
Okay, they were set back a little bit. You weren't in a village. It wasn't a row of houses one after the next, and you're running down a road in between them. They were set back a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember if there was any other landscape features, mountains, rocks, trees, water? What else did you see? Were you running through a forest or kind of an open grassland area?
No, this was the only thing that I was seeing. I don't remember anything else.
Okay.
From the balcony, when I was in the room, I could see like trees and like a town, and then the sea, because the town was near the sea.
Yeah. And, so in the room, you did look out the balcony from where you were standing, or you went to the balcony to look out?
I went close to the balcony because the woman was standing there, and then I didn't get out on the balcony, actually.
So the position of you and this person in the room, she was standing on the balcony when you appeared in the room?
Can you repeat, because there was some... Yeah, I didn't hear you very well.
Oh, just going back to being in the room. You said there was a balcony, and the woman was on the balcony, and that's why you walked out there to speak with her?
She was not on the balcony. She was right before the balcony.
Okay.
Like one step, and she would be on the balcony, but she was not on the balcony.
Okay. So you approached her? Is that what you remember? You walked towards her to receive the information?
Yes.
And then at what point in your conversation with her did you actually step onto the balcony?
I didn't. We didn't step onto the balcony.
Okay.
I never went to the balcony.
You never went. You never actually stepped on the balcony. Okay. And then you mentioned having seen the judges when they were on a balcony, or you saw them from this vantage point on the balcony?
Well, while I was standing close to the balcony, talking with this woman, and then at some point they appeared on the balcony and they were looking down.
So you were standing with the woman near the balcony, and the judges were also with you standing on the balcony?
They were not with me, they were just on themselves, like I didn't approach them.
What I mean is how close were you standing to them?
Not very close, because the balcony was very big.
Okay, so it was a very large balcony, and you could see the judges from inside the room. So you're looking out from the room onto the very large balcony, and the judges are there on the balcony.
Yeah. I don't know how relevant this information is for the interpretation of the dream.
Say again, sorry?
I wonder how relevant this information is for the interpretation of the dream.
Me too. I don't know. I tend to trust my instincts. What I want to do is find as many details as possible, very specific, because mostly what we're going to find is those details are relevant to the answer, or to finding some kind of a meaning. So I want to get as chronological and specific as possible. That's why we go through this a second time, to pull out these extra details and really try and make sense of it. So once again, the chronology of the dream: you're standing in the room, The woman is near the balcony. You kind of walk over to her, and that's where you can see the judges are there. And so you're having this conversation with the woman while the judges are standing on the balcony, and what are they doing? Are they looking down? Are they looking at you?
Yes, they were just looking down. They were not talking, they were not doing anything. They were just looking down.
Did you have an idea of how they were posed? Were they leaning on the railing? Did they look relaxed? Did they look stiff, upright, tense, very serious?
They were very serious, and they had their hands in their pockets. Were not touching anything on the balcony. They were not. They were just serious and straight, standing straight, still.
Okay, just kind of staring down. Did you have any idea of what they were looking at?
Did I have any idea of?
But whatever they were looking at, they were focused on it, and they didn't pay any attention to you.
I think they were looking at the death of their daughter.
Oh, they were watching the execution.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's so. At the moment, you were being told by this woman that you weren't going to get any special favors. She knew that, and she was able to tell you that because look, they are watching this execution. It's happening. You're not getting away. That's kind of how you knew. Okay. And it was pretty much at that point that you decided you needed to go. You just had to run. It wasn't, if I'm not getting any favors, if I can't draw upon my relationship to these people in a way more meaningful than their own child, I better get out of here.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me start a new page here. So we're at this point. You're then back out on the. You're on the path and you're running away, and you see that it's kind of a cobblestone road, and there's some houses, but there aren't too many. They aren't too close, but they're not very far away. And it was while you were running away down this road that did anything else happen, or that's just that process of running away is when you woke up?
First of all, I have to say that the houses were like not few. The houses were many because they were one after the other, like close houses, one close to the other, very like attached to the other. Okay. Just because you told me not many houses, and then I saw my ex-boyfriend running after me. I saw him behind me, but pretty far away. And he was like running to catch me with some other people that I didn't really see, but I knew that there were others also coming. And then I looked straight ahead, and I tried to run, and this was the dream. Then I woke up.
Okay, so do you remember if anything changed about you in between being in the room near the balcony and being on the path? Like you were dressed, as far as you know, you were dressed the same, physically nothing had changed?
To tell you the truth, I don't remember, or I didn't pay attention in my dream to my clothes or how I was looking.
Sure.
So I don't remember any if something changed.
That's okay. No, I don't know. I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer. Yeah. Sometimes it's relevant, sometimes it's not. You say, I just want to clarify something too. Throughout this conversation so far, you've been referring to one of the judges as your boyfriend from real life. This was an ex-boyfriend at the time the dream happened, or he's an ex now?
For like some days now, he's an ex. That's true.
Okay, so now he is an ex, but when you had the dream, he was your current boyfriend.
No, I had the dream like 2 days ago, so he was not my boyfriend anymore.
So the dream happened after the breakup?
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like you got a phone call?
Yes, but I can.
You know what? You can take it. I need to go use the restroom, and I'll just edit out the break. We'll take like 5 minutes.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'll be right back. Did you do everything you need to do?
Yes, okay. I'm finished.
Okay, wonderful. 30. Okay, just making a note of the time frame for me to cut it. So we're back from a break, and you were talking about being on the path, kind of a cobblestone path, and there were houses. There were quite a few, but they were not packed close together. You were not on the city street. You were not running through the city. You'd made it, say, out beyond the city limits?
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't go beyond the city limits.
You did not go beyond the city limits?
Look, there are some interruptions while you are speaking, so sometimes I don't hear the whole sentence.
That's okay.
But I
I'm very
didn't
sorry.
get out of the city limits.
Okay.
I didn't get out.
So you had just gone, say, maybe from the dense heart of the city. Now you were
Exactly.
further out. Okay. Maybe like kind of the suburbs, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said it was your ex-boyfriend was chasing you,
Yes.
pursuing you. So you got the sense that you were running?
I didn't hear what you were saying because there are some interruptions in the connection. I don't know.
I'm so sorry. You were running, you say? Running. You were actually running
Yes.
away?
Yes.
Okay. And you got the sense that the people chasing you were also running?
Yes, partly.
Did you get a sense of how many people were
No.
with him? There was one, there were
No.
5, there were 20?
No. I couldn't even see them. Like I just had in my mind that there are some other people coming. I was hearing them, but I didn't see them, so I could not count them.
Okay. So he had just a posse with him. He was gonna chase you down, and he brought enough people to get the job done.
No.
Okay. And then at what point running did you wake up? Just you had an experience of running for a period of time and then awake?
Yes.
Did you have any sense of how long you ran?
A very short time, like very short time. I was not running a lot in my dream.
A very short time running.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, it very well could have been you had the experience of running for hours, but it was less than a minute.
No.
Less than a minute.
No.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so we did the what I kind of referred to as the first two phases of my process, and then we get down in. So first you tell the story as much as you can remember. Then I try and help you pull out a little more specific details, and we did that. And then now we get around to what does it mean? And so you had a lot of great imagery that I think we can work with, that I think is relevant. And I'm going to spread out my notes a little bit here so I can kind of, before we get to me making suggestions or trying to help you put pieces together, now that we've been through it a couple more times, now that you've put yourself back in the dream in a way that maybe gives you a more visceral, a physical feeling of being in the dream again, do you have any of your own connections or ideas about the dream imagery? What would you say about that?
I don't have any ideas.
Nothing immediately comes to mind?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Sometimes I'm talking to folks and they're like, yeah, now that you reminded me of a couple things I forgot, this and this makes sense, but we'll do it together. It's perfectly fine. The first thing that stands out to me is the location at the beginning of the dream. You're in a room, in a castle. What associations do you have with castles? What does a castle mean to you? What is that kind of a building?
I don't know, like old medieval period, and I don't know, like old ideas. What can I say?
You said old ideas?
Yeah, like the old, not modern ideas. Not it's not contemporary.
It's not what, sorry?
It's not like something contemporary or modern.
Contemporary.
It's like it's something old that represents me old ideas, tradition, very old traditions. I don't know, like
Okay.
past. Something that belongs to the past.
Okay. My thought was also that that the castle as a building was significant. Not just what it represents, and this is great too. The idea that it's old ideas, not contemporary. It's old traditions. It belongs in the past. But the building itself is also. You were not in a sawmill. You were not in a cave. You were not in a tiny house on the street. You were in the castle.
Yeah.
And to me, castles, my associations with it would be it's a place where the rich or the powerful, the wealthy, those who in control live. It's very strong and safe, thick walls. Does that kind of resonate with you when you think of a castle?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you were not on the ground floor. You were on at least one floor up, and there was a balcony. And this to me suggests, consistent with a castle, the idea of being elevated above the street or above the people, some kind of almost like a class distinction. You were part of or inside this privileged circumstance, elevated. Does that kind of resonate?
Yes, and we were very high, like very, because we could see the whole town. Like, yeah.
Okay.
It was pretty electric.
So it was not just the second story. It was quite
No,
a ways up.
really high.
Okay. And then it also seems significant to me that there was another woman there. So there's the other woman, and there's the two judges out on the balcony. And this woman was a messenger of some kind, or you approached her to learn something, or you looked to her to give you information. Does that make sense? Could you hear me? I don't know if you're talking. I don't hear you. I think I might have lost your audio. I don't know if we got disconnected or something happened. I don't know if you might have to disconnect from the call and reconnect. Hello?
Hi.
Hey, I can hear you there. Wonderful. Let me just make a note of the time.
Sorry. I had unplugged my computer. I didn't notice, and suddenly the computer was turned off.
Okay. That's okay. I can do another little edit here. Are you feeling ready to continue?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I don't know what the last thing you heard was, but I was beginning to ask you about being in the room and the woman and the judges on the balcony. And
Yeah.
it seems significant to me that you approached or looked to the woman to give you information. What do you think about
Yes.
that?
I don't know.
Let me spread out my notes again here a little bit. Yeah, that seems significant to me that you were not alone in the room. That there was it wasn't just you in the room standing near the balcony looking at the judges. There was some intermediary, a conduit that the information passed through. So you didn't directly speak with the judges, and you weren't just eavesdropping on their conversation. They weren't talking at all. You were having someone, some third person, give you information. That doesn't bring anything to mind?
No.
When you were going through the breakup or considering breaking up with your boyfriend, did you have female friends who gave you advice?
No.
Or relatives, mother, aunt?
No.
Okay.
Now the video is frozen.
Say again, sorry?
The frozen.
You said the video froze. Is it
I cannot see you moving.
Oh, but you still hear my voice coming through?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, hopefully my direct camera recording is coming through okay. I hope it's tolerable for you.
It's tolerable.
Yeah, we can come back around to that or not. And again, sometimes I'm just rattling doorknobs and I don't know that the door's going to come open, but that still feels significant to me that there's some disconnection, not a disconnection, but an intermediary. You're not getting the information directly, you're getting it from another source. It's not like secondhand, but from a messenger, so to speak. That seems significant. We can roll back around to it. The next thing that seemed significant to me was that you put your boyfriend and his father in the role of judges in this dream. Was that your experience of your boyfriend? Was he kind of judgy and traditional and critical, demanding? Does that make sense? Was his role in the dream consistent with his personality in real life?
Well, I didn't hear you very well because again, sometimes the audio was muted.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you repeat?
Yes, absolutely. It seems significant to me that you put in your dream, you put your now ex-boyfriend in the role of a judge. Is that consistent with his real life personality in terms of, was he kind of judgmental, maybe along lines of traditional standards?
Yes, that's true. He appeared judgmental to me, not very judgmental to everybody. At the last week, he was pretty judgmental.
Okay. Okay. And then it also seemed relevant or significant that you also put your ex-boyfriend's father in there, did you get the feeling that in real life your ex-boyfriend's father was also kind of judgmental, or was he not?
Judging me or judgmental in general?
Both. Give me your impression. Yeah.
I don't know him very well, so I don't know if he's judgmental, but surely he's an old-fashioned man, and apparently, yeah, he would be like judging, especially women. I don't know.
Okay. That seems interesting too. That what am I trying to say? That you you said that the representation of the ex-boyfriend's father in the dream was not actually him, not actually from real life, but different. You just had the sense that that's who that person was, and that in real life you didn't actually know your ex-boyfriend's father very well. So that seems consistent with your waking experience, is that you had a sense of him. You knew he was there, but you didn't know him very well. So even in the dream, this person was represented as the boyfriend's father, but not exactly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you got the feeling that in real life, the father was kind of an old-fashioned man, traditional. Maybe it was in the dream his castle. Is that? Maybe. Okay. And that thus your boyfriend maybe got his ideas about that because of how he was raised.
Apparently.
Say again?
Apparently.
Okay, apparently. Sure. And you said that commonly, let me just rephrase that. Your boyfriend wasn't typically judgmental towards other people in real life, but was increasingly judgmental towards you around the time of the dream and before the breakup?
Not. Well, he didn't seem very judgmental to other people. But
Okay.
maybe he had his own ideas and he wouldn't reveal them. I don't know.
Sure. Without getting too personal, do you remember the nature of his judgmental attitude towards you? Was he criticizing you for specific failures or personality conflict, if you're comfortable saying?
He was criticizing the way that I was dressing up, the way that I was dealing with the house issues, some things about my previous employment. Generally, he was expressing his opinion.
Okay. So just critical of some of your behaviors and choices. So you were just generally bickering more, fighting more?
Not a lot of fights, but yeah.
You wouldn't describe it as a fight, just more disharmony?
Yeah, more disputes, not exactly fights.
Yeah, different people have different understandings of what the word fight means. Some people are very specific on, it's not a fight unless it's physical. I look at, you can have a fight verbally. This is why this is why I ask, to clarify what you mean, because it doesn't matter what I mean, as long as we're speaking the same, we have the same understanding of the words. It also seems significant to me that the judges were remote. They were removed. They're standing over there in judgment. And not only that, they're looking down as past judgment is carried out. And they are, you mentioned them as determined. They were not going to let it go. They were not going to grant a pardon. They were not going to change their minds, change their standards, up to and including the point of carrying out a sentence on someone who is actually related to them. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that gave you the sense that if they're not going to let her get away with it, I'm screwed. I got to get out of here.
Yes.
Okay. and then you ran away, and he was chasing you. Kind of hearing more about these real life details as they're reflected in the dream. Do you have any new thoughts?
No.
Not at all.
I don't know what the death penalty means in a dream. Like, what is this execution? Does it mean?
Yeah. Well, that is a relevant element. So, in my dream work, I don't do the dream dictionary style, where if you dream of death, it means one thing. If you dream of water, it means another. So, for you, what I'm thinking is that the death penalty is, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but it's the most serious consequence anyone can receive?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. So I'm thinking that represents to you the level of determination, the seriousness of these persons' beliefs. They are going to hold to those beliefs up to and including carrying out a death sentence. That's how serious they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know that it's significant that a death occurred or that death represents something. I think it's just your mind's way of saying they mean business. They are serious. This is, if they'll do that to her, whoa, I got to get out of here. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think the death is necessarily significant beyond establishing. It's like a decision in your mind. It's like knowing that about them, knowing how far they will go. Now I got to decide what to do to take care of myself. And your answer was, I'm out of here. I'm going to leave. I'm done.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, without, I hate to tell people, here's what it means. I like to build that together, but to me, the pieces are coming together in my mind in this way. You've been having problems with your boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend, and leading up to this dream happening, there was a lot of judgment. He was sitting as a judge over you, looking at your behavior and whatnot, and you were struggling with the idea of, do I stay in the castle? Do I stay in this place of comfort, safety, an elevated status kind of, in light of the fact that I'm going to be harshly judged by very firm standards that won't be changed. I have to decide, take it or leave it, and your choice was leave it. And in real life, that was also the decision you came to. You broke up with your boyfriend?
No, he broke up with me.
Okay, and then did the dream happen before or after he delivered that judgment?
After.
After. He sat. Okay, how long were you dating this man?
Like almost 4 months.
4 months. So your relationship was new. It was like a child in longevity, and your boyfriend put that child to death, killed the relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just blew my own mind. Wow, that's powerful symbolism. You now what do you think? Putting those pieces together, what are your thoughts?
I don't like the interpretation.
You don't like it? I'm sorry. Yeah, I cannot offer to make you happy. I can only offer to tell you the truth as I understand it.
No.
Yeah. I wish I could only give people good news. But I think this is important. You're trying to tell yourself something. Have you gone back and forth on trying to decide whether you want to try to get back together with him, convince him to get back together with you?
I'm trying to contact, but he doesn't seem very. He doesn't seem very talkative.
Yeah, he's kind of made his decision, and yeah, I mean that makes even more sense too. Is he's a judge on a balcony and you were with him until he made the decision for the execution, and then you just had to run, then that may be another, that running away with him chasing seems significant as well. That's kind of the end of the dream. The end of the dream is that he's pursuing you. I don't know that that's an indication that you believe he wants to get back together, but that even at a distance, even actively running away from him, you still feel his judgment pursuing you. You still feel that you can't get away from how he feels and the fact that that affects you. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I don't know, like, if you think the death sentence is like the end of the relationship and he wants, then how he can pursuing, the symbolism is that if he runs before me, he pursues me. Like, I don't understand this.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to put together in my own mind. I struggle for the right words and ideas to express, but my impression is the pursuit does not represent him wanting to bring you back to the castle, but the idea that you can't escape his judgment, even if you're not together anymore. You know that his feelings about you will stay the same. Or not necessarily that, because he could change his mind and you guys could get back together. I have no predictions about that. But the idea that even after the breakup, even after that experience on the balcony, you're still being pursued, not as much by him, but by you can't escape the judgment. You can't escape his opinion of you. Even if you run from him, even if you're separated by distance, that the way he feels about you, his judgment will still follow you. And what does it mean that there's more people with him? That maybe he's not alone in his opinion of you, or you feel that way. You feel that there would be others who would agree with him and add to that, not add to the judgment, but participate in experiencing that judgment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this seems like a dream about the end of your relationship and how impactful that was to you. It can be life-changing to have a relationship end.
Well, I don't believe it. And still, I don't believe it. That can happen. You haven't given up on the relationship? You think it can be saved? I think yes. No.
Maybe it can. Maybe it can't. I don't know. That's I would have to be.
The dreams represent the energy like that you receive from the situation around you in the present, or does they say something also for the future? Like that, I don't understand, because sometimes we see some dreams and then this happens in reality, or something happens and you relate it to the dream and you say, oh, I saw this dream, so. Yeah.
I have a friend who tells me he has had dreams and then they come true. I don't know what to do with that. I've never had that experience myself, so I don't want to pretend I can understand it more than on an intellectual level. The idea that it happens, but what does it mean? Oh boy. My process, what I tend to do is look for personal meaning to kind of immediate events when possible, or sometimes remote events, things that happened in the past, and try to make sense of the imagery based on what's going on in your life. So my process, my understanding of dreams is that your brain is constantly receiving information, sights and sounds, and generating its own thoughts all day long and over weeks and months and years of your lifetime, and then we go to sleep. And all of that new information, all of that stimuli is cut off. And now we're just processing what we've already experienced in this unconscious framework. And unconscious means the idea of not receiving new active stimuli. So, to my understanding, as far as I know, and until I get better information, that processing of our lived experience is what's happening in the dreams, and dreams tend to be related to our strongest feelings, our hopes and fears, our struggles, things that we are trying to understand or make sense of. So maybe you've had difficulty coming to terms with this relationship status. Are you together? Are you not? Is he determined? Could it work out? You're having maybe a lot of thoughts and feelings during the daytime about this relationship.
Can you repeat the question?
I'm sorry. Just in your waking life recently, you've had a lot of perhaps intense thoughts and feelings about this relationship.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that's what the dream was about. Ultimately, is trying to continue that process of understanding in your sleep by throwing up these images that allow you to more clearly identify the moving parts, and then once you know what it is, then you kind of know or have a better idea of what to do about it. Does that kind of make sense?
I didn't hear you. Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh no, it keeps cutting out. I'm so sorry. What did you hear? Can you tell me what you did hear?
Nothing. Like I cannot understand what you said because a lot of things were cut. A lot of words.
I'm sorry, it was cutting in and out. Gotcha. My thought is the reason this dream happened was because of your strong emotions and intense concentration on this relationship issue.
Yes.
Okay. That would be, I think we've got it. That would be my interpretation. You're struggling with a relationship, the end of a relationship, and these are the elements that you feel are personally meaningful to you as they were represented in the dream. And the goal of the dream would be to help you understand those pieces better. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I have some doubt because you represented the child as the relationship.
Yeah.
But the child was only of his child. It was not my child.
That is an interesting point, and I could be entirely wrong. You could go back and look at this again, or give it more time to think about it, and another idea might come to you. Do you have a different idea yourself right now?
No, I don't have any ideas.
Okay.
That's why I asked for that interpretation, because my mind doesn't go somewhere.
Fair enough. Yeah, and the child, we could talk about that just for a minute more. It does seem significant that it was his child and not yours, that was your feeling or experience of that person.
Yes. It's not only his child, but the child of his father. So it cannot be the relationship, because his father doesn't have to do anything to do with the relationship. So it's something of his child.
Yeah. Maybe rather than the relationship, the child represents, what am I trying to say? It's maybe his feelings about the relationship. This is something, what is a child? A child is something you make as a person. It is the offspring of a human, so it would be his flesh and blood. But you said it was not only your boyfriend's child, but also the child of the father-in-law or the boyfriend's father?
Yes.
That is interesting that it would be both at the same time. So
not the child, the granddaughter. If it was the relationship,
okay.
then it would be my child, and
Mm-hmm.
his father had nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, you were. It's interesting. You were completely disconnected. So from the child, no relationship, not in the same blood
No, no,
related
I
way.
didn't have any relationship with the child. They had
Yeah,
a relationship with the child. I didn't have.
yeah, and I think that is significant that it was their child. It was. I was trying to think of more words associated with child. It's something they created and destroyed, and something that you did not create and had no ability to make a decision about. You couldn't save the child. It wasn't your choice to put it to death. Um, oh. I am not entirely sure what to make of that, but I think it does relate to. What am I trying to say? It does relate to something belonging to them entirely, from their perspective, from their a child of theirs versus, not one you made with him. Something solely under their control, something, we may have already gotten to it in terms of the idea that this was a blood relative, someone they presumably cared about deeply, and yet they were still willing to pass judgment on them. Maybe my speculation that the child represented your relationship is not relevant. But in a sense, it represented how serious he was about his decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That might be it. Yeah. And don't feel bad or disappointed if you need more time to think about this. Like, some people have that moment of, oh, and everything makes sense, and they're like, that's exactly right. And some folks are like, it was so disturbing or impactful that they need more time to think about it. So you had the dream, you were able to think about that for a minute. Then you have the interpretation, one potential analysis, and you need a little more time to think about that. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few more days down the road, some other pieces start falling together now that we've laid it out like we did. Does that make sense? Did I lose you again? It says you're talking, but there's no audio. Yeah.
I'm talking.
Okay,
Can
there
you
you
hear
are.
me?
Wonderful. Now I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What to say? What else? And this was my dream. I don't know. Like, if a dream happens in reality, this is not very easy to happen in reality. Like, I cannot be seen in a medieval castle.
Yeah, this one's unlikely to come true necessarily. I don't believe it's likely your boyfriend's going to try to actually put his own child to death at any time in the near future or ever.
And what he doesn't have a girl.
I'm sorry, say again?
He doesn't have a baby girl.
He doesn't have one even.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think a lot of these things are symbolic representations. I don't tend towards the prophetic or future vision theory of dreams. Maybe so. That's why I tend to choose conversations with people that are that leave those elements off to the side. Maybe someday I'll get better at that, and I'll know what to do with it. I hope I do. I'd love to be more knowledgeable and authoritative in a way on dreams in general. But what I can offer is going through my process of really getting a good look at what we're dealing with, and then trying to pull the meaning out of it related to whatever's going on in your life. So I think I've probably done the best that I can. I don't know how you feel about it. Was this a worthwhile experience? Something you're at least glad you did, even if
Yeah, sure. I liked your the interpretation because I couldn't think of anything. I thought about the relationship, etc. But yeah, still, all these things with the old ideas and the the intermediary. What does it like? Why? What does it mean that they didn't speak to me, but there was this intermediary?
My thought was that I go to word associations is that they were removed from you, aloof. And that may be representing also the idea that your boyfriend broke up with you, so he put himself at a distance, and then you experienced him in the dream being judgmental at a distance. That seems related. He put that distance between you, and you couldn't close it. You didn't actually go onto the balcony to join him, to stand next to him. You didn't beg and plead. You didn't watch the execution. You just knew it was happening. They were far away. Or yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, but can I ask something else?
Absolutely. Anything.
Because the person that appeared to be the father of my boyfriend is, I think, I have the feeling that I know him, and this was like someone, a teacher of mine. Let's say, I would say teacher, so that I don't reveal his position.
Okay.
He's like a teacher of mine. Does it make the situation more complicated?
Maybe. It's another element. It depends on what your associations with that person are, how you feel about them. Go ahead.
I didn't have a relationship with him, but I admire him a lot.
Sure.
And this teacher.
Yeah,
I admire him a lot, and we were connected at some level, but not relationship-wise. But we were connected at some level.
When you hear the word relationship, you probably think dating. For me to be in a I have a relationship with my wife. I have a relationship with my brother. I have a relationship with my friends. Many different kinds of relationship, but it's good to have that distinction. This was not someone you dated, but someone perhaps you admired, someone you also, when you say admired, you had a respect for their opinion, and you maybe respected their judgment as well.
Yes.
Okay. So it would be interesting that maybe a part of you in putting that judge there feels that other people you respect in your life might actually agree with your boyfriend's decision, that they would look at that like he made the right choice. This is not to say he did make the right choice, but this is a part of you feeling doubt maybe that he is right. Does that make sense?
No, I don't feel any doubt that he's definitely not right.
Okay.
He's downright wrong.
Fair enough. Yeah, and your waking mind and even your dreaming mind might be saying, I don't like this, this is all wrong. And then sometimes there's a small part of you that just doubts, that just says, what if he was right? And that may be what that other judge represents. That's the first thing that came to my mind is, here's another person, kind of representative of someone you knew and respected, whose judgment maybe you would actually trust, and they're going along with it. It may be just that tiny piece of doubt. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know if you have a different understanding or want to offer a different interpretation of that person.
I don't have any understanding. I don't know.
Better than nothing. Yeah. No, and sometimes I've talked to some people, and this is not on any recording, but just throughout the past, where they do things in their dreams that horrify them. They do things in their dreams they would never do, things they don't believe in real life. And they're like, why would I do that? Why would I, what's an example? I stabbed someone in my dream. Why would I do that? And the first thing they think is, do I want to stab someone? No, probably not. But just the fact that there is a person, let's say in your dream, who represents someone from your past you might respect and trust, and whose opinion you would think was valid, who kind of agrees with your boyfriend. It doesn't mean that you actually do agree or actually believe he is correct, but just the idea that some small part of you has that question, what if he is? What if he did make the right decision? Even if it's not what I want, even if I think he's wrong, what if? And sometimes that comes out in the dreams, just that doubt, that little nugget that says, "Am I so sure about this?" Yeah, the dream isn't necessarily trying to tell you your boyfriend's right. You should leave him alone. But some small part of you wonders, is he right? Did he do the right thing? Even if you decide no. Does that make sense?
No, I don't have a doubt that he did the wrong thing.
Okay, fair enough. I could be completely wrong.
That's why I say that the penalty is not proportional to the activity, to my illegal activity, theoretically, to what I was being on trial for.
Yeah.
Just doing a minor thing, like I don't know, like a verbal insult, like something like that, let's say, then the penalty. So this is not proportional to the to what someone has done.
And that, I think, is very significant as well. So in your looking back at the relationship and at your own behavior, you're looking at the idea that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Him, whatever you did or whatever faults he thought you had, it doesn't add up to breaking up with me. That's not justified under the circumstances. So the verdict of executing the relationship, so to speak, was not justified by your behavior choices, things you considered rather minor infractions. Does that make sense? I think I heard you trying.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense in the dream.
To tell the truth, the professor, my teacher, also punished me at some point, and he was really very strict and cruel, and exactly what you said, the punishment didn't fit the crime.
Yeah.
It was very, very cruel to me.
Okay. Yeah. Again, so you're the idea that this person would be there, also passing judgment, it's reminding you of a past experience where, again, you got unjustly condemned, out of proportion to like, this shouldn't be happening. This isn't fair. This isn't a good outcome. There should be another way. That seems to be what you're feeling on the inside.
Yes, I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Do you have more questions? More elements you want to focus on?
No.
Okay, good. I don't want to. I can talk for. Well, I've done these videos for 2.5, almost 3 hours in the past, so I can talk for a long time. But I want to be respectful of your time, and I want to make sure not only I don't keep you too long, but also I don't rush you out the door. We can talk as long as you need to feel like you've explored it as fully as you want to.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Well, I hope you hang around in the Discord and come back and tell us more if you have another dream, if you have the same dream, if you have any new understandings of this dream. I would love to hear it. Hopefully that's exactly what happens with everyone I talk to. We go through the analysis, and then a little while later you have some time to think about it, and you're like, here's my new understanding. I suddenly have a better idea of what's going on. So I would hope for that. We'll see. No pressure.
Okay.
So
thanks a lot.
Say again?
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the interpretation.
Oh yeah, thank you for joining me. I always feel very grateful that people are willing to share their dreams with me.
If I have another dream, I will advise you. I will come to you for advice.
That is the highest compliment. I appreciate it. People who enjoy what I do, feel I did it well, and are willing to do it again. I appreciate that. Well, I'll let you go, and I'll say to our listeners, thanks for listening to another episode of Dreamscapes.